For 10,000 years, every intelligent species in the Milky Way feared a single world marked on every galactic star chart with the same crimson warning: Forbidden Planet, no entry. The planet had no official name in modern records because speaking its ancient designation was considered bad luck among spacers. Merchant captains changed hyperspace routes to avoid it. Military fleets maintained a respectful distance of 20 light-years. Even the mighty empires that ruled thousands of systems refused to scan its atmosphere. Legends claimed the planet devoured armies, shattered civilizations, and transformed anyone foolish enough to land upon it. Some believed it was home to monsters older than stars themselves. Others insisted it was a prison built by forgotten gods. No one knew the truth because no expedition had ever returned with evidence. Every attempt simply disappeared. As centuries passed, the mystery became religion, and religion became law. The Galactic Council declared the world permanently quarantined, surrounding it with automated warning beacons and gravitic mines. Children throughout the galaxy grew up hearing stories of the cursed planet where death itself learned to hunt. Yet every legend contained one detail no historian could explain: ancient ruins found across dozens of civilizations bore the same strange blue symbol, a stylized eagle wrapped around a star, and always pointed toward the forbidden world. Archaeologists dismissed it as coincidence. Politicians ignored it. The military classified every discovery. Only one species smiled whenever the symbol appeared: humanity. While alien scholars argued over myths, humans quietly updated classified maps, replaced aging orbital satellites, and continued delivering supplies to the forbidden planet every month without fail. The world was not cursed. It was not abandoned. It was not a prison. It was Earth's oldest and most demanding military academy. Officially designated Training World Alpha Zero, it existed for one purpose: creating humans capable of surviving absolutely anything the universe could invent. The planet's gravity was nearly 6 times that of Earth. Mountain ranges pierced the upper atmosphere. Storms generated natural lightning visible from orbit. Oceans hid predators capable of crushing armored submarines, while forests contained genetically engineered creatures designed centuries earlier to test human adaptability. Every environmental disaster imaginable had been recreated somewhere on its surface. Volcanoes erupted daily. Frozen continents endured temperatures that shattered steel. Deserts produced sandstorms moving faster than aircraft. Every square kilometer presented a new lesson in survival. Human recruits called it simply the Crucible. They arrived confident and left transformed. The first lesson began the moment their transport touched down. Artificial intelligence instructors immediately disabled every advanced piece of equipment. No energy shields. No powered armor. No orbital support. Every recruit received only a knife, a medical kit, and 3 words displayed on a wrist communicator: survive. Learn. Adapt. 90% failed the opening month. Not because they died, the Academy carefully prevented fatalities, but because they surrendered. Surrender meant returning to civilization forever barred from military service. Those who remained learned to climb cliffs under crushing gravity, cross radioactive wastelands with homemade equipment, and outsmart predators that hunted in coordinated packs. By graduation, they could repair starship reactors with primitive tools, navigate by unfamiliar constellations, and survive alone for years if necessary. Human commanders often joked that after living on the Crucible, every other planet in the galaxy felt like a vacation resort. The joke was only funny because it was true. Far beyond the quarantine system, the expansionist Varkesh Dominion reached the peak of its power. With more than 8,000 conquered worlds, Emperor Kayla believed fear was the greatest weapon ever created. His fleets erased civilizations that resisted and enslaved those that surrendered. Intelligence reports repeatedly mentioned the Forbidden Planet, warning commanders never to approach it. Kayla laughed at the recommendation. Superstitions are chains for weak minds, he declared before the Imperial Senate. If every empire fears one world, then conquering it will prove we rule the galaxy itself. Thunderous applause echoed through the chamber. Admirals celebrated before the campaign even began. Historians prepared speeches describing the end of the oldest mystery in galactic history. Only one elderly strategist remained silent. His ancestors had fought humans thousands of years earlier, and buried within forgotten archives he had discovered a sentence that haunted him ever since: if humanity ever invites you somewhere, decline. If humanity tells you to stay away, obey. He requested an audience with the Emperor, but Kayla dismissed him with a smile. Old fears have no place in a new empire. Within hours, the largest invasion fleet ever assembled accelerated toward the Forbidden Planet, unaware that they were not sailing toward humanity's greatest secret. They were marching directly into humanity's classroom. The Varkesh Dominion's armada arrived in perfect formation, nearly 12,000 warships stretching across space like a metallic continent. Their arrival alone bent the darkness around the Forbidden System, drowning the ancient warning beacons beneath the glow of Imperial engines. Admiral Ziran stood proudly upon the bridge of the flagship Imperator's Wrath, expecting orbital defenses, hidden fleets, or terrifying alien weapons. Instead, the planet remained strangely quiet. No warships launched. No planetary shields activated. The surface appeared almost untouched by civilization, covered by endless forests, jagged mountain ranges, violent oceans, and swirling storms powerful enough to be seen from orbit. The legends were exaggerated, Ziran said with a grin. Scan the surface. Moments later, the science officer frowned. Sir, we're detecting nearly 3,000 human life signs scattered across the planet. Soldiers? Ziran asked. No, Admiral. According to their biometric patterns, they are between 18 and 25 years old. Laughter erupted across the bridge. Cadets, another officer mocked. The mythical Forbidden Planet is nothing more than a military school. The Admiral ordered a planetary broadcast. Humans, by decree of Emperor Kayla, this world now belongs to the Varkesh Dominion. Lay down your weapons and surrender. For nearly a minute there was only static. Across the planet, thousands of young human trainees looked up as wrist communicators beeped simultaneously. Every screen displayed the same message in bright red letters: final exam activated. Live enemy. Rules unchanged. Survive. Adapt. Win. Some recruits were climbing cliffs in 6 times Earth gravity. Others were hiding from engineered predators deep within the forests. Several were halfway across radioactive deserts carrying homemade equipment. None complained. None panicked. Instead, smiles spread across exhausted faces. One cadet laughed. Finally, she said, tightening the straps on her worn backpack. A challenge that shoots back. Another recruit looked toward the sky where thousands of alien ships eclipsed the stars. Guess graduation comes early. Veteran instructors observed from hidden bunkers but made no move to intervene. Colonel Elias Grant, commander of the academy, folded his arms and watched the invasion unfold on holographic displays. A nervous civilian observer asked, "Shouldn't we evacuate them?" Grant shook. The invasion began with overwhelming confidence. Thousands of dropships descended through the atmosphere carrying nearly 2 million elite Varkesh soldiers equipped with advanced plasma armor, autonomous drones, and orbital support. Their commanders expected frightened cadets armed with primitive survival gear. Instead, the first platoon vanished less than 5 minutes after landing. Helmet cameras showed soldiers marching through a dense jungle before the ground beneath them suddenly collapsed into concealed sinkholes lined with sharpened stone spikes. Rescue teams rushed forward only to trigger electromagnetic traps that disabled every drone and communications relay. Confusion spread instantly. "These aren't military defenses," one commander shouted over the radio. "They are improvised." Exactly. Every trap had been built by human trainees using nothing more than local materials, patience, and creativity. The cadets had spent months learning how to defeat technologically superior enemies without relying on advanced weapons. Now they finally had real opponents. High above the battlefield, Admiral Ziran watched casualty reports flood his tactical display. Entire companies disappeared without a single confirmed sighting of human soldiers. Then came the first visual contact. A squadron of armored Varkesh commandos surrounded what appeared to be a lone human recruit resting beside a river. Confident in their numbers, they ordered him to surrender. The young man slowly stood, brushed dirt from his uniform, and smiled. Instructor said never fight fair, he whispered. Before the aliens could react, the river exploded. Massive aquatic predators burst from the water, creatures genetically engineered to hunt anything producing electrical signals. The aliens' powered armor became irresistible beacons. Chaos erupted as the monsters tore through the platoon. By sunset, the Varkesh Dominion still possessed the largest fleet in the galaxy. Yet on the surface of one forbidden world, their greatest invasion force had begun to understand the terrible truth hidden behind 10,000 years of legends. The planet itself was never the weapon. The humans it created were. Night fell across the crucible, but darkness brought the Varkesh no relief. The planet itself seemed to awaken. Forests glowed with bioluminescent vines that confused infrared sensors. Thick fog rolled through valleys, swallowing entire battalions. The 6 times Earth gravity exhausted even genetically enhanced alien soldiers, while the human cadets moved with practiced efficiency, every muscle conditioned by years of relentless training. The Varkesh had landed expecting to conquer a school. Instead, they had entered the final examination of the most brutal military academy ever created. Admiral Ziran's tactical display became a nightmare of disappearing signals. Entire regiments vanished without firing a shot. Supply drops never reached the ground, intercepted by trainees who had learned to calculate orbital trajectories with nothing but the stars overhead. Long-range artillery batteries exploded one after another, not from enemy bombardment, but because human cadets quietly sabotaged them using hand. Furious, Ziran issued a new command. Burn the forests. Vaporize the mountains. If we cannot defeat them on the ground, we will erase the battlefield. Hundreds of warships rotated into bombardment position. Their main cannons charged with enough energy to reduce continents to molten glass. The firing order never came. Every weapon aboard every Varkesh ship suddenly shut down. Bridge crews stared in disbelief as warning lights flooded their consoles. Admiral, an engineer shouted. Our reactors are still online, but the weapons refuse to activate. What do you mean they refuse? Ziran roared. It isn't a malfunction, something has taken control of the firing systems. Across the fleet, identical messages appeared on every display. Training exercise safety protocol activated. Live orbital fire prohibited. Silence filled the bridge. How is that possible? Whispered the communications officer. No one answered. Then another transmission arrived, not from the surface, but from the oldest satellite orbiting the forbidden planet. It had been circling the world for nearly 8,000 years. A calm artificial voice echoed through every Varkesh vessel. Welcome to Training World Alpha 0. Orbital bombardment has been disabled to protect active cadets. Please wait until the exercise concludes. Ziran felt genuine fear for the first time in his career. Find the source. The answer came almost immediately. The satellite, it's controlling our entire fleet. But that's impossible. It isn't using our systems, the engineer replied, his voice trembling. It's overriding the laws of our own quantum computers. Whoever built this technology is centuries beyond us. Far below, Colonel Elias Grant smiled as he watched the enemy panic. The old caretaker is awake, he murmured. The civilian observer looked confused. Old caretaker. Grant nodded toward the ancient satellite. It was launched before the Galactic Council even existed. Humanity built it to supervise training exercises. It has never lost control of the orbit around this planet. How old is its artificial intelligence? Grant answered quietly. It was already ancient when my ancestors were born. While the Varkesh struggled with their crippled fleet, the cadets received another update. Final exam, Phase 2. Objective, capture the enemy commander. A countdown appeared beneath the message. Time remaining, 12 hours. The recruits exchanged excited glances. Until now, they had merely survived. Now they had permission to hunt. Hundreds of young humans disappeared into the darkness. No shouting. No speeches. No dramatic charges. Only silent determination. They moved through forests, cliffs, rivers, and underground cave systems with astonishing precision, each squad anticipating the others without needing radio communication. Years of impossible training had forged instincts that no simulation could replicate. Meanwhile, Admiral Ziran reinforced the perimeter around his headquarters with nearly 50,000 elite guards. Automated turrets covered every approach. Shield generators created overlapping defensive bubbles. Surveillance drones filled the sky. It doesn't matter how skilled these humans are, he declared. No group of cadets can penetrate this fortress. Exactly 3 minutes later, every light inside the command base went dark. Emergency power failed. Communications died. The shield generators shut themselves off. The only sound was the wind. Then footsteps. Slow. Calm. Purposeful. One guard raised his rifle toward the darkness. A flashlight clicked on. Standing in its beam was a young woman wearing a battered training uniform stained with mud, rain, and dust. She couldn't have been older than 20. She wasn't carrying a plasma rifle. Only the survival knife issued on her first day at the academy. She smiled politely. "My name is Cadet Maya Torres," she said. "You've officially failed the final exam." Before anyone could react, dozens more human cadets emerged silently from every direction. The hunt had ended. Now, the lesson would begin.